Hello. Today I'm here with Neil,
Hi.
engineer at Moorcheh AI. We want to show you new features on enterprise version of Moorcheh. Basically, when you install or deploy Moorcheh as infrastructure, you get an entire architecture of more than 400 assets deployed on your cloud, which are coordinated. They take care of file ingestion pipelines all the way to embedding, chunking, ingestion of videos, images, text, and then they store them. They take hierarchies, summaries, and indexing and metadata, and they put it into the knowledge base, the proprietary vector search engine. That's Moorcheh. It's based on information theory. And from there, you basically get APIs exposed, and from those APIs, you can build any kind of AI application with access to all the Bedrock models. That's about the AWS. If you deploy on AWS, equivalent to that, you can deploy the whole thing on GCP, and you will get all the equivalent cloud assets built on GCP. Now, one part of it that we haven't mentioned much and has been neglected is that along with the cloud assets, you also get a fully functional monitoring dashboard. And this monitoring dashboard is where you can log in, create an admin account, and manage all the access. You can invite people, collaborators. You access the control over authentications, a full auth layer with API keys, and you can monitor the usage of all the API keys, all the API endpoints, anything that is happening within your suite of the entire deck, entire assets. You can monitor what's going on. So now I'm here today with Neil to tell you more about the monitoring dashboard and the access control. So Neil, please go ahead and share the screen.
Sure. First, I would like to go towards the namespace, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna perform the actual operation onto the namespace, upload a video, chat with that, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna dive how we can see that what's going on behind the scene and how we can monitor those logs. So let me just
Yeah.
quickly upload one file.
So one
Yeah.
powerful thing is that in the upload, you can upload PDF, docx, presentations,
Yeah.
CSVs, text, JSON, images, and
Video file as well.
videos and audio.
Yeah.
So
So
almost all multimedia
yeah.
type of files are being accepted here. Just keep going. I just walk over,
Sure.
talk over
Okay. Sure.
what you
Uh,
just go ahead and
yeah.
continue. Don't stop.
Yeah. So
Right.
right now I'm uploading the video file, which is a kind of a house tour, and let's see how much time does it take and how does it upload those video, and then we see how does the embedding and chunking model work. Seems to be frozen. Yeah, it's done. So it is a pretty much a pretty large file, that's why it's taking a longer time to upload. So right now it's preparing and it shows us the status in real time, what's going on
Mhm.
behind the scenes. Preparing means the video is got, we uploaded the video on the S3 and then it triggered the Lambda function. And
How
then
big is the file,
let me check
Neil?
the exact file property. Just give me a second. It's
Okay, the
around
status changed to queued, which
queued. Yeah.
means that the upload and preparation is ready. Now it's taking the value. So how big is the video?
It's a 14 MB file, which is around 5-6 minutes around.
Okay, 5 6 minute video. It turned into 6 chunks,
Yeah.
explanations of what's happening in the video. So if someone asks questions about the video, it would be available in the namespace. So
Perfect.
can
So
we have a look at the chunks,
yeah, sure.
basically?
Let's have a look at. We can have a look at the chunk, but first we'll chat with the chunk, and then we'll see. Okay, what chunk we are returning.
It would be better to show the video. What's the content of this video?
Okay, let's show the video. Let me just put this on hold. Okay, let me share that video screen.
Whose house is this? Where
This is
did
a
you?
one. Yeah, this is a one house that I get from the internet, and I was like, okay, we could just turn it on.
Oh, you the video online.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's enough. Okay, we know it's a tour of the house.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's see what does this return. Okay, so we're asking what's this video about and what's going on.
Yeah. So it's detecting
Mm,
by timeline, and it shows us that okay, this is a house tour, giving a house tour walk through the resident
mhm,
area, and it also shows us like what different parts of the house. So that's the
mhm,
beauty of it. It shows us the living room area for the first 10 seconds,
mhm.
and then shows us the kitchen area, laundry, bathroom, and the empty room, backyard view. And the
Okay.
audio is very minimal, and also shows us the summary, what's
So
going
all
on.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a look at the so we
Sure.
have the summary
Yeah. This is a summary, quick summary of
which
the
is
one file.
created automatically by
Yeah.
Moorcheh.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So this is our video ingestion. Let's move on to the next feature, which is I would like to go to access control first.
Okay. Let's go to the access control first.
Yeah. So whenever you get a fresh deployment of Moorcheh, you have an admin access.
Yeah.
And through the
And
admin access, you can control who you can invite users from your organization, and you control who gets access to which namespace and how much control they're gonna have. So you just enter the email, send them the invite, and you choose what namespaces they have access to. It's for security. You want to follow the principle of like minimum privilege for everyone, or whatever, but depending on what the activity or projects you're doing, working on. Okay.
okay.
So yeah, just wanted to show you. That's enough. You don't need to
Okay.
actually do it. I just
Okay.
wanted to show. So and then each person in front of the name, or you have number of namespaces that they have, and you can grant them access or remove access to individual, revoke access to individual namespaces, which is very important for security measures. Okay, now to the actual monitoring dashboard. Go to the monitor. Yeah. So here you have a overview of everything that's happening, how many API requests you have, how many Gen AI requests you have, how many calls to LLM you have, and the execution times, and how many API keys have been used. This is an overview, and you see the most recent one. But you have, yeah, go to the log. But you have like a full vision of the logs and everything is happening. For example, let's show the conversation we just had about the room. So you would see it in private answer endpoint. Here are the what's happened. There was a chunks that created. There was this conversation and was returned about, yeah,
Yeah.
one
The
conversation
exact chunk that we talked, it might take a bit because
to appear
it's a
here.
yeah.
But you would have everything with proper timestamps
Yeah.
and how much memory was used, how many, the build millisecond duration of how much this every microservices work. Because
Yeah.
in Moorcheh architecture, everything is built upon microservices, Lambda functions, and cloud runs, and you would have full vision of every minute activity that's happening on your platform. Okay, go to the next one.
Yeah. You could just a quick range. You could select the range of the date that you want,
All right, all
and
right.
then once you do that, like let's say if I want to go to the 22 to 24, that is my date, and you could directly apply the filter that you can use into the Bedrock, and
Mm-hmm.
then that will just work seamlessly. Once you do
Okay.
that, you could select the report only and all, and then hit enter. Again, it's
Mm-hmm.
filter out the chunk by the
Mm-hmm.
date, and you could load to the date that you want.
That's good. Yeah. Let's move on to the next tab on our monitoring dashboard. So you have to go back to the services. Okay. Now go to the monitoring. Basically, this gives you very the critical analytics on alarms,
Yeah.
and you
The
can actively set alarms,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, you could. What we have done is we have already set up in the backend, and in the stack we have already defined what kind of alarm that we want for DynamoDB and all of the Lambda that we have, as well as the API gateway private and public. So what I just did recently before joining the call is I just call the that particular database, Moorcheh data store, too frequently just to trigger
Mhm,
an alarm. Give you an example
mhm,
that
mhm,
okay, how does it look like into the front end? So it shows
mhm.
me that okay, this particular alarm is triggered from the data store registry.
Yeah.
It reached the capacity for the read limit. It
Mhm,
shows you like what threshold did we have, and what was the data point, and what was the timeline, and
mhm,
what was the
mhm.
read capacity that it
Yeah.
consumed. So you could go to the
Again.
Moorcheh
Mhm.
AWS and measure that.
Yeah. So again, what's happening behind the scenes is that we have these microservices. Basically, we have DynamoDB warm throughput, and we have API gateway and Lambda and SQS. These are main components that build our all the ingestion pipeline and file recovery. So what Neil did was he overwhelmed the requests by sending hundreds of requests all at the same time, which is okay. That it can be easily handled. Up to thousands of requests can be handled. But for you to have a visual of what's happening, you can set up your own alarm.
Yeah,
So, and I think in this case was 1,000,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
1,000 requests per second would trigger some kind of alarm. And that's what we see, I think,
yeah,
right? On top, the DynamoDB. 1,000 read units, right?
yeah. Read
Uh,
unit.
which is nothing for DynamoDB. We already have provisioned 10,000 units of warm throughput.
Yeah,
So
but
basically, you don't have to worry about it, but it's just for added
like,
security and visibility into the backend, right?
yes, perfect. And in the metric explorer, I just triggered a metric explorer for the API gateway. You could select the private and public. Private is what you are saving into the dashboard, and the public is what you're gonna export
Oh yeah.
access using the API key.
So again, so sorry, I have to stop. I have to
Yeah,
explain the private and public thing.
yeah,
So the architecture of Moorcheh again has two parallel sets of API and microservices that are independent and each mimic the other. So everything you do in this dashboard is handled by the private endpoints. So there's no exposure to any outside calls. It's only whitelisted by your dashboard. So there's no access external. The public is not actually public, it's just another endpoint that you can use through your own authentication to
yeah,
access for your application, for your front end, for your mobile app, for your web app, any kind of external app you want to build. It has to go through a very rigorous API gateway authentication. So that's what we call public, that can be safely exposed into internet, right? Yeah, continue, please.
sure. So we just triggered a function for the metrics for the private lambda, and it shows us we select since we select the 7 days and we select the stage. Right now we just have one stage. You could select the
Mhm,
multiple stage once you go along with that, and it shows us the request count and with the timestamp that how many requests made on those days. So if you have not used on certain days, it automatically exclude that, so do not need to worry. So
mhm,
that is one thing, and it shows the how many 404 error does that it
mhm,
get, and the how many 500 error
mhm,
latency
mhm.
9 latency 950 P95 P99 and all.
Yeah, yeah. On the latency, because this is built for production level
Yeah,
services, you want to know what was the worst experience that your user had.
yeah,
And because we're depending on the LLMs and a lot of like embedding models or ingestion models on the back end that are running on the Bedrock, or in the case of GCP, they're running in a
cloud
factory. What they call
cloud
it?
run
No,
cloud run
no, I mean the LLM
images.
backend for the
It
CP.
We get that model from the Vertex AI.
Vertex AI, yeah. So those providers could vary in time and response time depending on their own backend and demand. So it's out of our control to make sure that always the Bedrock model returns the same timing. That doesn't happen, and it's out of our control. But what we can see is to monitor it for latency.
Yeah, and
See.
just to mention that this latency is in the millisecond. I forgot to mention the
Mhm.
time, what the unit of the time, but
Yeah,
these all are in the millisecond. Just to give
yeah,
you an idea about that.
yeah. Millisecond, and then you have 3 digits. That's microsecond
Yeah.
after. Okay, good. What's next?
Yep. That is one thing, and you could see the alarm that we already talked about, but you could see
Mhm.
how many alarm that you have configured. So you
Oh
could
yeah.
get name of each
Okay.
one of those.
Oh yeah. Show us the process of defining a new alarm.
Right. So we can define that into the backend. So in the
Mhm,
backend, when we design the stack, we define it by default. So it's
mhm,
better to have the control and the state management by the CDK.
mhm.
So right now, if you want to, we can do it, but we just need to provision into the stack. Yeah.
No, the good thing is, okay, stay here. So every asset that is running has this listed here, right?
Yeah.
And the health of every microservice, every unit would be monitored right there,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Thank you very much, Neil. I think this was a
Yeah.
good presentation. We had a few hiccup at the beginning, but I hope it turns out well. Thank you for explaining, and thank you for the great work.
Yep.
And see you later.
See you later. Thank you.